Women hide their deepest desires behind invisible walls, behavioral masks they've learned to wear, yet their bodies always speak the truth. Most men will never recognize these 6 signs, not because they are hidden, not because they're invisible, but because they've never been trained to see what has already been shown right in front of them. Pay attention. This isn't about manipulation. This isn't about tricking someone. It's about something far deeper, far more essential. For decades, you've been conditioned to believe that reading a woman's mind is impossible. Society has taught you that women are mysterious, contradictory, complex enigmas that simply cannot be understood. But here's the hard truth. That's not her. That's the limitation talking. That's your programming talking. Philosophy, science, and psychology tell a very different story, one that modern dating culture refuses to acknowledge. Every human being is simultaneously honest and hidden. Every human being broadcasts their intentions, their emotions, their desires, through subtle micro-expressions, through tiny shifts in posture, through the unfiltered language of the nervous system. The conscious mind can lie, the body cannot. For decades, you've been looking in the wrong place. You've been fixated on her words. You've treated them as gospel, as if they revealed the full story. But words are politics. Words are negotiation. Words are a mask. They are carefully crafted, strategic, often protective. But the nervous system is raw. It is truth. It is democracy. It does not discriminate. It does not lie. It does not perform. And this matters to you because you're tired. Tired of guessing. Tired of wondering if she's truly interested or just being polite. Tired of the anxiety that gnaws at you every time she laughs at your jokes or brushes past your shoulder. That uncertainty you feel, that gnawing in your chest, that isn't weakness, it's evidence. Evidence that you've been playing a game with incomplete information. But today changes that. Understanding these signs doesn't make you a manipulator. It makes you literate. It gives you the ability to read the most sophisticated language ever spoken. Not words, not texts, not emojis, but the language of truth, the language of desire itself. When a man learns to read this language, everything changes. He stops chasing illusions. He stops investing energy in uncertainty. He stops building castles in the air. He moves through the world differently, not with arrogance, not with manipulation, but with clarity, confidence, presence. Here's something irrefutable. Our social engagement system, the deepest, oldest part of our brain, communicates long before our conscious mind is aware. It communicates through micro-expressions that flash in 1/125th of a second, through subtle pupil dilation, through tiny shifts in posture, through the almost imperceptible cadence of breath. Women are not more mysterious than men. They're simply trained in suppression. Socialization teaches them that desire must be managed, hidden, controlled. But under proximity, under genuine connection, when their guard slips, the authentic nervous system emerges. Science backs this up. A study published in Psychological Science examined how people perceive romantic interest. Conclusion? The body never lies. Eye contact lengthens, shoulders relax, mirroring behavior becomes unconscious. Yet these signals appear only in the right context, only when she stops performing, only when the mask is down. Most men miss this because they're searching for the obvious, the grand gestures, the overt declarations, the explicit words. But desire whispers. Desire moves subtly, invisibly, in the quiet spaces between words. Think about it. Your brain processes visual information at roughly 11 million bits per second. Your conscious mind? About 40 bits per second. That means you're literally blind to almost everything happening in that room every single moment. But here's the incredible part. You can learn to see, not with your conscious mind, but with something older, your intuition, your nervous system responding to hers. That's the skill we're talking about today. Picture this. You're sitting across from her, maybe in a coffee shop, maybe at a friend's gathering. Warm lighting, soft background noise, other people moving around, but somehow the air between you has weight. It isn't awkwardness. It's a current, a subtle gravitational pull that only the two of you can feel. She's speaking casually, her words normal, yet something underneath is moving. Something in her is reaching toward you while her conscious mind maintains plausible deniability. This is the territory where the six signs appear. The first sign begins with breath, not metaphorically, literally. When a woman is genuinely engaged with someone she craves, her parasympathetic nervous system responds. Her breathing changes. It becomes shallower, faster, more deliberate. Oxygen flows differently through her body because it is preparing. For what? Connection, vulnerability, intimacy. You felt this yourself. Nervous around someone you like? Your chest tightens, your breath becomes audible. She experiences the same thing, and she knows it's visible, so she tries to regulate it. But genuine interest reveals itself. Even if she tries to hide it, her breath will fluctuate, subtly, predictably, naturally. Watch for her chest rising more prominently. Listen for micropauses, subtle catches in her voice. This isn't anxiety, it's activation. She's neurologically alert, present, attuned. Next, watch her eyes. The pupils are windows into the autonomic nervous system. They dilate involuntarily when someone is drawn to you, when dopamine floods the system, when desire rises. Women know this, and often in public or professional settings, they try to manage it by changing lighting or positioning themselves. But in moments of true connection, intimacy, or vulnerability, the pupils betray them. Notice the glossiness, the subtle widening, the softness in her gaze. This isn't imagination, it's physiological fact. These signs, the breath, the gaze, the micro-expressions, are only the beginning. When observed, they give you something most men never get: clarity, certainty, confidence in reading human behavior at the deepest level. This is not about seduction. This is about understanding, about literacy in the language of desire, about seeing reality for what it is rather than what you hope it to be. And here's the truth. The more you learn this, the more you realize how much you've been missing. The little moments, the quiet cues, the energy that lingers between conversations, all of it is meaningful. The subtle leaning in, the shift of weight, the micro mirroring, the tone of voice that dips just slightly when she speaks to you, these are her words without words. If you pay attention, if you practice, if you learn to read this language, you'll never look at social interactions the same way again. You'll stop guessing, you'll stop worrying, you'll see what is always there, and you'll understand how to respond with clarity, calm, and authenticity. If you want to master this, if you want to truly understand female psychology and never be confused again, then keep watching this video because we're going to break down all 6 signs in full detail. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next. We're diving deep, and by the end of this series, you'll have tools most men spend their entire lives wishing they had. Remember, this isn't about tricks, about games, or about manipulation. It's about knowledge, about literacy in the language of the body, the nervous system, and human desire. Watch closely, observe, learn, and transform the way you understand attraction forever. This is measurable, biological reality. Every subtle sign we've discussed, the breath, the gaze, the proximity, is grounded in science. But there's a complication: lighting. You can't accurately assess pupil size in bright sunlight or harsh overhead lights, but in moderate, controlled lighting, like a cozy coffee shop, a living room, or even a dimly lit lounge, this becomes a clear, objective indicator. If her pupils dilate when she sees you and constrict slightly when the conversation becomes personal or emotional, that is the second sign. Her body is saying yes long before her words catch up. Distance, too, is a language all its own. Anthropologist Edward Hall called this field proxemics, the study of how humans use space. He identified distinct distance zones: public distance, social distance, personal distance, and intimate distance. Most people maintain social distance, roughly 4 to 12 feet, with acquaintances or colleagues. It's safe, neutral, requires no emotional risk. Personal distance, 2 to 4 feet, is reserved for friends, family, or trusted individuals. Intimate distance under 18 inches is for lovers, partners, or those with deep emotional connection. Here's the crucial part. A woman may allow a man into her personal space out of politeness or convenience, but that's comfort, not craving. Comfort is maintenance. Craving is magnetic. When she truly desires you, she doesn't just permit proximity, she orchestrates it. She creates situations where she is physically close. She chooses to sit beside you rather than across. She leans in when speaking. She positions herself so your arms might casually touch. She reduces the buffer zone deliberately, observing your reaction. And here's the subtle distinction. She doesn't look awkward or tense. She looks like she belongs there, like this is exactly where she wants to be. That difference is enormous. One is societal obligation, the other is choice, attraction, and desire in motion. The third sign, then, is proximity, the way she lets her body naturally find yours. Watch for consistent closeness. Watch for her comfort in reduced space. Watch for the ease with which she exists near you. This is not coincidence. It is a nonverbal statement. I am safe with you. I want to be near you. Next, listen to her voice. Humans communicate far more than words through tone, pitch, and cadence. Lower frequencies communicate strength, authority, and confidence. Higher frequencies communicate vulnerability and submissiveness. Most women modulate their voices unconsciously throughout the day. Around authority figures, their voice may ascend slightly, a subconscious gesture of deference. Around peers, it normalizes. But around someone they are attracted to, something remarkable happens. Their voice drops. The pitch descends, the tone softens, it becomes intimate. This is called the acoustic attraction signal. She isn't unsure. She's creating a private, shared space in her speech, a conversation just for you, excluding the rest of the world. You've heard it before. That softer, slower, richer voice she uses when the masks are off, when she's comfortable, when she's interested. Beyond pitch, subtle speech patterns reveal synchrony. She might laugh more, pause thoughtfully before responding, or mirror your phrases. She's aligning with you unconsciously. This is a powerful signal of attraction. When her voice changes in this deliberate, intimate way, that's the fourth sign. She's lowering her defenses audibly. Now, here's a sign that reveals genuine interest more clearly than anything else. Memory. Humans remember what matters to them. Not consciously always, but neurologically, our brains encode information that triggers our reward system. If she's genuinely attracted, she remembers your details, your coffee preference, the story you told 3 weeks ago, or that quirky habit you mentioned once. But she will reveal this naturally, subtly, not as a display, not as proof, but as part of conversation. Oh, I saw this and thought of what you said. She's signaling, I think of you when you're not here. Your words matter. This is the fifth sign. It's intimate, nuanced, and often missed. Most men mistake it for casual friendliness, but it's far more profound. Proof of attention, proof of investment in you as an individual. Finally, there is the vulnerability cascade. The sixth sign, progressive self-disclosure. She begins to reveal what she usually keeps hidden: insecurities, past hurts, dreams she's hesitant to share. But context matters. Sharing vulnerability with a therapist or long-term friend is expected. Sharing it spontaneously with you, that's an act of trust, an intimate invitation. And notice her subtle testing, watching your reaction, assessing if you'll judge or reject. When you respond with acceptance, empathy, and care, she recognizes safety, and safety triggers craving. Watch for the deepening of openness, for the moment she stops performing entirely and simply exists in your presence. That is the moment her authentic self emerges, and it's undeniable. Remember, these 6 signs don't operate in isolation. One alone could be ambiguous. Pupil dilation might be caffeine. Voice changes could be fatigue. Proximity could be accidental. But when all 6 signs align, breath, pupils, proximity, voice, memory, vulnerability, it becomes a clear pattern. That pattern speaks a language pre-verbal, primal, undeniable. She craves you. Your presence matters. You are affecting her entire nervous system. Most men have been taught to see desire as something women grant reluctantly. That attraction is a transaction, that women are gatekeepers and men are supplicants. But biology says otherwise. When a woman genuinely desires you, she doesn't withhold. It radiates through her breath, her eyes, her proximity, her voice, her memory, her vulnerability. She communicates desire across every channel available. The question is whether you are developed enough as a man to see it. This isn't manipulation, it's literacy, it's sophistication, it's the ability to perceive truth that's always been there, to recognize genuine desire beneath social masks, to respond with clarity and confidence. When you master this, you stop chasing illusions, you stop guessing, you move through the world with grounded presence and authentic awareness. And here's the most profound part: women sense it. They recognize when a man sees them, truly sees them. They recognize when he perceives their truth without being confused, without being manipulated. And that recognition triggers something primal. Because what every woman craves underneath games, protection, strategic withholding is to be genuinely seen by a man who can understand and honor her truth. The truth is clear. She doesn't crave you despite your ability to read her. She craves you because of it. She craves the man who sees her, who understands her, who navigates her communication with precision and integrity. Learn these signs, not to manipulate, not to control, but to perceive, to understand, to recognize desire when it's right in front of you. Become the man who can read this language, and you'll see the world and the women in your world respond in ways words alone could never achieve. If you want the next part, where we break each of these 6 signs into actionable examples and real-world scenarios you can use today, make sure to watch the rest of the series, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications. Every detail counts, and by the end of it, you'll never look at attraction the same way again.